bringing Gator Nation a different Gator great every episode.
This is Jabbar Gaffney. You're listening to the All for the Gators podcast.
Hey, I'm Earl Everett. You're not a Gator, you're Gator bait.
This is Bo Carroll.
Hey, I'm Rita Anthony.
This is Kiwan Ratliff, and you are listening to All for the Gators podcast.
This is Cedric Faison, a.k.a. C4.
This is Brandon James.
This is Jack Jackson. Go Gators.
Hi, this is your boy Jeremy Mincy, a.k.a. Mr. Mintz, and we were the All for the Gators podcast.
This is Ben Trooper. You listening to the All for the Gators podcast.
Hey, guys, this is Jarvis Moss. Go Gators.
You rocking with Lito Shepherd, and we're All for the Gators podcast, man. Top notch.
This is Chris Doring, and you're listening to the All for the Gators podcast.
And now, your Gator alumni hosts, John, Andy, and Sid.
Back in the saddle again. Come on, Sid. Take it.
I was actually thinking, although I do like Aerosmith, mad respect to Aerosmith. But I was actually thinking, because we are missing our friend Andy, a better song to come in with would be Just the Two of Us. You know, kind of like a little Austin Powers style.
Can't help it if you try.
That's
just
it.
the two of us.
But
who sings that?
I have no idea. All right. Oh, that was terrible.
Good.
Okay.
And that's how we do intros here on the All for the Gators podcast.
Right. Insight you could find only here.
I don't like to talk about current events, but there's something that's kind of bothering me going on in pro football, and that's the Taylor Swift deal, right?
Oh.
You know what's going on with Kelsey? Have you seen any of that?
My life revolves around Taylor Swift. I have a 15 and 13-year-old daughter. I know more than anybody has any right to know about this person. So
it just gets on my skin. She's in the skybox. They're showing her every 5 minutes. The NFL's running promos, and then they go to commercial, and it's her tour. And it's just, I'm sick of it. But here's the question. If there could be one famous hot chick that was dating a Gator, and she's at the Swamp every game, who would you want that to be?
Well, the answer to this question for me in every instance is Gal Gadot. But
Wonder Woman.
Wonder Woman, yes. I am a big superhero dork. So
yeah.
Unabashedly, very easy answer for me.
And who would she be dating?
Ricky Pearsall deserves it with making catches like that. So yeah, he deserves it. That guy's got flash.
He's got a girlfriend.
He does, but I mean, we're talking about Wonder Woman. Who deserves it more than guys making crazy one-handed catches in traffic? It's like all-time great catches. No. You make another catch, grab an Amazon.
Okay. All right. So,
yes.
Who should I pick? Is that what you're saying, Sid? Who would I pick?
Absolutely, yes. Can you beat Gal Gadot? Who would be better than that? And who would our lucky lady be dating? Which Gator?
I'm going to go with a cougar who's known to be a cougar.
Oh.
Kate Beckinsale.
Always a good option. Yes. Underworld. Very nice.
The tight leather.
It's a look that works. It does.
So, yeah, she's always dating the younger guys, right? So maybe who would she be dating? Probably one of the tight ends, right? One of the big guys.
You can't go wrong with the tight ends, as Taylor Swift can show us all, right?
Or maybe we'll throw it to Graham Mertz. How about that?
All right.
Well, he's dating Miss America or something.
The quarterback usually doesn't need much help finding the ladies. So I've been told.
Just the two of us. Yeah. Couldn't do a podcast if we tried. Just the two.
Oh, no, you and I.
Oh, man.
All right, so until we get a diva to start dating a Gator, let's talk about our Gator friend. Who is the latest friend of the show for us this week, John?
Well, we got work to do tonight, Sid. We need to get some respect back on our guest's name because it's been a minute since he played. I'm talking, let's get him into the UF Athletics Hall of Fame discussion.
Yes.
This guy's a pioneer. As an inaugural member of the Spurrier regime, a pioneer of the modern-day SEC championship game, a pioneer of DBU.
The trifecta.
But first, he came out of Tallahassee, Florida, where as a quarterback for Godby High School, he led the Cougars to a state championship his senior year in '87. Well, he spurned Bowden and the Garnet and Gold to come down and play in the Swamp. And as a Gator would set the benchmark for how championship football was to be played, not at quarterback, but at free safety. And it wasn't just, this guy was good back in the 90s. No, this guy set or tied UF interception records for a game, a season, and a career.
Wow.
Gator Nation, I give you three-time first team All-SEC every full year he started. First team All-American and two-time Playboy All-American. In 2020, the Gainesville Sun ranked him in the top 10 of safeties to ever don the orange and blue. And even though only one is officially recognized, we're going to go ahead and say 2-time SEC champion. Spurrier gave out the rings, right?
He did.
Number 2, causing havoc for SEC quarterbacks all day. Back in the day, Mr. Willie Davis. You know him as Will White.
Yeah, yes.
Welcome, yes.
Happy to be here, guys. Happy to be here, guys. Number 2 on my jersey, number 1 in your heart. So let's do it.
That's right. Man, I've been excited about this episode since the day we spoke on the phone.
Yes.
You know, we get to talk to the greats, Gator greats, guys that have had big plays or seasons, maybe won a national championship. But, dude, you're a legend, and we have a chance to revisit one of the best careers in UF history, shine some light, hopefully get some discussion started about that UF Hall of Fame. What do you say?
I would love it. I would love to, guys. Thanks for having me out. Thanks for giving me an opportunity. Love to sit and talk to Gators all day. So let's go for it.
Well, you're definitely in the right place for that.
Well, first, I want to bring up, you don't have a Wikipedia.
I don't know. I should. What's up with that?
I think I got to create one for you. What do you say?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, we got to get you some exposure.
Let's do it. Let's do it, man. Let's start from the Wikipedia and move forward, man. Coming out of old Seminole land, all of my life, so I deserve a Wikipedia. So let's do it.
You mentioned out in Tallahassee, so let's start there.
Okay.
Were you a Knowles fan growing up before you came to Gainesville?
Born and raised in Tallahassee, saw the Seminoles all my life. I actually went to a developmental research school of Florida State, which is the Florida High. We were the Demons way back when. It's so hard for me to believe that it's 30-some odd years ago. But they're now the baby Seminoles, and it was developmental research school here in Tallahassee. So I always grew up with Florida State, as well as FAMU. My parents went to FAMU. They were educated at FAMU. They were also working at FAMU. But as I started getting recruited and playing good ball, I wanted to kind of be my own man and get out of Tallahassee, but not so far away that my parents and my family could enjoy seeing me play as well as on TV and just enjoy that rivalry, being that bad guy that comes home and does his thing.
I like that.
That reminds me of Ben Troop, right? He's from Georgia,
yep.
And always enjoyed going home and talking trash to the hometown folks.
Oh, man, it's the best. It's the best. Yes, it's the best. Even 30 years, it's up and down. Sometimes we have them, sometimes they haven't. Well, they're pretty strong, but hey, I'm still looking for that rivalry. It's always a good time, man. It's, just being away 2 hours outside of Tallahassee. Yeah, it just gave me a chance to be my own man, meet great people from the University of Florida, and always go Gators.
All right.
Well, let me ask you, number 2.
Yes.
Growing up a Knowles fan, played defensive back.
No, I didn't say I was a Knowles fan now. I said I went to school there. My mother wanted me to go to it when my sisters were.
So you didn't wear number 2 for prime time because of prime time?
No. I wore number 2 because it always takes 2, to the tango. It was something that I gravitated towards. When I came up way back when, I actually started out with number 12. I was a quarterback, and I loved Doug Williams at Grambling.
Sure.
And so back then things were a lot different. And so I was recruited as more of an athlete, but I had opportunities to go to University of Georgia, University of Tennessee, Tulane University, Southern Miss as a quarterback. But again, Florida offered me that package of big time notoriety, big time TV screen, big time education, and it was just far enough away for me to kind of, again, be my own man, develop, and also give a shot. I actually got a shot at quarterback, and all of my boys here today say I should have stayed at quarterback. And that is where actually, my ties of being a great defensive back allowed me to get into the quarterback's mind, get into the spirit of it, and be able to intercept and be in the right place at the right time. So I just use those benefits in many different ways, and it just serves me. If I had to do it all over again, I would do the exact same thing.
Kiwan talked about the same thing.
Yep.
He used his knowledge of the offensive schemes that he learned playing receiver on defense, and that made him even more dangerous.
Most definitely.
Yeah.
Knowing that quarterback, knowing how he feels and what he sees in his helmets, his instincts, I just applied that defensively. When my freshman year before Spurrier got there, we ran a totally different defense. It was more of a corners back, free safety. I was an alley player, gained a bunch of weight, got in the weight room, was, because I was more of a tackler. I needed to learn how to run into people as opposed to faking them out, buying time. So that whole transition, and then when Spurrier got there, Coach Spurrier got there, and Bill Bates, Jim Bates, I'm sorry, I had lost a bunch of weight, and now I backed up, and I was the last line of defense. So again, it put me in a place where I was very comfortable with, and then I just had to believe in myself. And so that 1990 season, which was really what put me in the map.
Before we get there, man, don't be jumping
yet.
yet.
You're right. See, you know what? I get the rolling, man. I get the rolling. So just
let's
put
go
a
back.
fork in, man.
Take a step back to the recruiting process here, right?
Go ahead.
And it's 87, 88.
Sure.
And you're looking to not stay in Tallahassee, but you want to stay close to home. So I'm thinking Miami's red hot at that time. FSU, their rivalry's heating up.
Sure.
What brought you to Florida? I know you said that they offered you to be an athlete and play, I guess, several positions. So who recruited you, and what ended up being the clincher to get you to UF?
Okay, my junior year at Florida High, which again they're Florida State high school now, but it was the Florida High Demons. My coach had left there when I was in maybe like the 9th grade, 10th grade, and he went over to Garby High School, a public school, which is the school that I originally wanted to go to. But my mother was like, "You crazy? You got all your boys there. You're just going to be whatever." So she put me in Florida High with my sisters, which I hated, but I stayed there for 4 years, running up and down the field. So what really attracted me, I cannot think of. I think his name was Bill Shaw. And he was a recruiter and my head coach that moved from Florida High to Garby my senior year. He is a big Florida Gator. He graduated from the University of Florida. So it was started getting interested in me. Yeah. So that's where that original kind of flavor, and I would always see them on TV when they would come in town. That was the rivalry that, Florida State had back then, from Lewis Oliver to Wilbur Marshall, to all those guys. So I always paid attention to those guys. And I just thought that it was a great university. And as they recruited me, I started learning more and more about it. So that was my kind of alleyway of the position that was pointed towards Florida.
Well, we're really glad that you came there. And
yes,
a lot of our other friends of the show have talked about how crucial that time in the scout team was under the Spurrier regime. Obviously, when you first got there, though, you were still under Galen Hall.
Right.
What was your experience on the scout team? Was there anybody in particular you remember matching up with that helped propel you to the success that followed after?
My true freshman year was, what the hell is going on? Excuse my French. Because I had to die. A quarterback dies twice. I had to die as a quarterback and become a defensive back. And I also broke my ankle, was learning a lot of guys, in positions. I remember my freshman year, we had this like 3-a-day thing, which was brutal. But before the 3-a-days, they had one day where they would try you at different positions, all freshmen that came in. So I played quarterback, wide receiver, defensive back, and the coach was kind of debating on where I should be. And because I really, I felt comfortable in all of them. So, but for the most part, my not rookie year, but my true freshman year, redshirt year, I had to go through a lot of mental. I really wanted to play quarterback, but I wanted to also get on the field as soon as I could and play, because I felt like I was a pretty damn good football player. So that freshman year, I had to grow up again, be my own man, learn out what I wanted to do, get my studies, learn how to be independent. Mom and dad wasn't there anymore. So, but as far as I used to get ran over, from scout team guys, trying to, again, like literally ran over. I'm on my back. I see cleats in my face mask. That's what kind of run over. And the boys would laugh at me. Some of my really, really good 35-year-old friends.
Who was that?
Like,
was that Eric Rett running over you?
No, dude. Check this out. This was scout team guys. This wasn't even the main guys. So I was like, you know what? And so I developed a certain pissed offness, and I was like, yo, this is not going to happen to me anymore. So then again, I started growing up. The guys like Carlton Miles and Dale Spear and Lawrence Hatch. Those guys played a lot of defense in high school. And so they lended a hand. And as I got good with some of the drills, my tackling got better. And so I was able to compete when I got off of my but my redshirt freshman year was injury. I broke my ankle. I had to have surgery, orthoscopic knee surgery. So I was really trying to find myself. But as far as who was that person? It was everybody that was doing it to me. You know what I mean? So Eric Rett came later in '89.
Yeah, you had Emmett when you got there.
See, I was with Emmett.
Yep.
And so I never, and that, listen, oh my God, what a treat for me, I guess, because when God made a running back, and I seen it from a practice standpoint, he made Emmitt Smith. I mean, the smoothness, the easiness, the
agility,
the ability the agility to see things, to read people. It was sick. It was sick. So I would pay attention to guys like that and wanted to get on that kind of level. So again, my freshman year was a lot of, shaking me up, so I can really, solidify myself in the position of defensive back.
Now, you mentioned Emmett. We have to ask, any early indications of the greatness that was to come? Obviously, one of the best runners ever. Could you tell?
He was there his senior year, right?
Yeah, I know. See, Emmett left
his
early.
junior year.
Junior year. I meant his last
year. Junior year.
His last year.
Yeah, so when Spurrier came in, Emmett scooted off and went to Dallas.
Yep.
Got drafted in the first round.
I guess that worked out.
It worked out beautifully. I don't think it could have worked out any better.
Yeah.
But I tell you, this guy, it was really seriously a treat to watch. I had a really talented guy out of Garvey High School. He ended up going to Florida State. His name is Eric Terrell. Those guys that have it. I mean, there's nothing they can do but have it. And Emmett had it. I mean, I still remember some of the moves and some of the scrimmages, when ones did go versus ones, it was almost like an honor to play against this guy. I remember he used to wear his helmet low. You couldn't see his eyes. And it was just awesome. It was like music. It was like music to watch. So
did you ever get him?
Hell yeah. I'm going to say that. Hell yeah. But you know what? Emmett and I, like I said, the first team versus first, and I had to battle my way up. I battled a guy out of Pensacola. And because Lewis Oliver played free safety my true freshman year when I was redshirt. So I got an opportunity to watch him. I got an opportunity to learn from Richard Fain, how to be a DV, how to cover, what to look for. And just the tenacity of Lewis, I tried to, put that in my game as well. So I was able to watch how, those guys competed and just shut up and listen. And that's exactly what I did. And it helped me be competitive against a guy that was a freshman as well. So that position of free safety was totally open, and competed for it and never looked back.
That's right. The next season, right, you take over as starter.
Yeah.
Your redshirt freshman season, and you get a couple interceptions there. You had a bunch of tackles, too.
Yes.
It was something like 63 tackles.
Yeah.
That season, Galen Hall, the head coach, he got in some hot water, possible NCAA rules violations. He's replaced with the DC. How did that affect the team? How did that affect your outlook, if any?
Oh, man. It was... I remember because I got in at the third. I'll tell you this story. I got in a little, I'm not embarrassed. I got in a little trouble just being a college guy, you know what I mean? Got in a fight, blah, blah, blah. So I got suspended for the first part of the year. And so I came in the third game. We were playing Mississippi State in Tampa. And all of my boys were on the sideline. They were in special teams, and nobody was really playing. And I never forget it. And I said, guys, if I ever get in, because I was just competitive as hell, I said, I'm not coming out. I was going to do whatever it took to stay in. And Coach Dickey was my defensive back coach. And, Greg and I were competing. And so it was like the first quarter. And back then they had the old telephone that would ring and you would connect to the coach in the press box. So it was Coach Dickey. And he's like, White, you're going in and you better not, say a couple of choice words. And I was like, hey, I was like, yo, just put me in the ball game, coach. And so when I hung up the phone, it was a TV timeout or something. So the boys, my partners, now this is supposed to be my lifelong friend. So they hide my helmet. So I'm looking for my helmet to go out on field because the next defensive series I was going out. And so I never forget it. When I went out, I was late and they were already in the huddle and they was actually calling the play. And so I'm running out there and I was like, yo, Greg, I'm in. And so, me and Greg, freshman, we're competing. He doesn't want to go out. But so eventually he did. So I got in. And in the very first play, they ran a toss sweep my way. And it felt like I had a motor in my new what. And I just torpedoed. And I was like, you know what? I want to stay. And so that tackling that I got trucked in practice, my true freshman year and all the times I got ran over and da. I took that as an opportunity, and it really what motivated me. And I think I had like 8-9 tackles that game,
Nice.
knocked down a couple of passes. So I started feeling, you know what I mean?
Welcome
It's
to
like,
the party.
yeah, exactly. Welcome to the party, and I'm bringing the party
That's
favorites.
great.
So yeah. So man, and from then on, I never came out, and I played as a true freshman. Got better, had some lumps, and then I remember I got my first interception, which Emmett was jumping all on me, back up, because it was the homecoming game when we played New Mexico State, and he had ran for like 316 yards. So now he's on the sideline coaching the DB.
In the first half, right?
No, not quite the first half, but the whole game. Yeah, he toted the rock for 316 yards. It was beautiful. It was a work of it was beautiful. And so he was yelling outside, back up, and I'm looking at you like, who the hell are you?
He wants more yards.
Yeah, back up. So the guy threw a long pass, and I just read it, and I intercepted it, and I wish I could have stayed on my feet to see what I could do with it. But I picked my very first pass off with Emmett yelling at me, telling me to back up because it was right at the end of the game, and they were going for it all, and we won. We won that year. I think we ended up 6-5 and went to the All-American Bowl out in Pasadena or Anaheim, one of those Californias.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was a little tough because again, Galen believed in me. The defensive coordinator went to being the head coach, and he believed in me. And so, when Spurrier came, I based upon the research of being from Duke, the guy throws the ball a lot. We just didn't know what was going to go on. And then Emmett left, and I never forget the day that they said that Coach Spurrier was coming. I heard the rumbling of the heavy equipment. It was shaking the dorm because the dorm was inside of Ben Hill Griffin, Yarn Hall. And it was all this heavy equipment to rip up the turf and lay down the grass. And it just went through this whole transformation with the field, with when he brought back the blue jerseys, where our homes were the orange jersey, just changed everything, the culture, everything,
Mm-hmm.
which was beautiful, And as that change of culture was about, my body, my whole game changed. I went from being an alley player to tackling to actually kind of a outside linebacker / free safety / just a slash guy, to now I was a deep third and a robber from cover 2 position. So I had an opportunity to really, exercise my quarterbackship that has always been in me my whole life.
So at this time, you're playing with other All-Americans, Huey Richardson, Brad Culpepper, who's actually on the ballot for the College Hall of Fame this year.
Yeah.
Playing with those kind of guys, does that elevate your game?
Of course. Brad Culpepper's a homeboy of mine, just as well as Tony Lomack and Tony Jones. So we had a nice small pipeline coming from Tallahassee. The pipeline wasn't as large as the pipeline coming from Miami, but we had guys that were from Tallahassee that were playing, and that only elevated my game. Back then when I was young, I just believed in shutting up, listening, observing, and that's how you stay in the huddle. That's how you continue to make plays. Learning and squeezing guys for information. Richard Fain was a real mentor of mine as far as when when we changed from being from an alley player my freshman year to more of a cover guy, deep safety, helping, knowing where I should, apply the help, having that confidence in my corners, just as well as they know that I was going to be there for them as well. And that year, that sophomore year, again, is when I blew up.
You sure did.
Bam, boom.
Hold on a minute now. Hold on. Let's
talk
about, Spurrier's coming in to replace Galen Hall as head coach. And, before the fun and gun revolution comes in, there's some serious stuff happening in Gainesville. The Gainesville murders, actually. And my older sister was a student at UF at that time. It was really scary.
It was nuts.
How did that situation affect the team?
I think it brought us closer. In a sense. We have never experienced anything like that. I'm sure, no one has really experienced anything like that. I remember, it was years ago, but I remember in our dormitory, a lot, it actually put a smile on our face because a lot of the girls would come and stay in the hallways until their parents got there. I guess they felt safe around guys, and so, it was like a ghost town. It was nuts. People were coming to pick their kids up. You can see it, the parents coming in, the parents leaving, the traffic. It was highway patrolmen, all kind of different officials. It was nuts, and we were still going to class and until they, kind of cut class back. But all of us walked in groups as we always do. But I remember that it actually kind of drew us and galvanized us pretty good. So
one thing I like when I go to visit Gainesville is driving past that 34th Street wall.
That one section, they don't change.
That section dedicated.
Yeah, exactly. But I tell you, man, just my whole football experience, my freshman and sophomore year, just a lot went on. Like you mentioned, the Gainesville murders and the fact that I'm trying to start as an early guy and Coach Hall getting fired. It was just a lot of moving pieces.
And your injuries,
and me going to class and, just study hall and me new friends and laughing and it was a blast, but it was also kind of just crazy. It was nuts. And, but I was able to get through all of that and thank God for it. I really do.
So getting back to the arrival of Coach Spurrier, talk about literally changing the ground beneath your feet coming in.
Yes.
Obviously, though, you're hopeful, optimistic, I'm sure. But, hey, Emmett Smith's leaving. This guy's ran Emmett out of here. He's going to be passing, not running the ball. Were you a little apprehensive or were you buying in right away? Could you tell what was going to come? What were your first memories of Coach Spurrier when he literally arrived on the scene?
I was like, who the hell is this guy and what the hell is about to happen to us? I found out how competitive he was from day one. And it was something that I just welcomed. I say this, and I say this wholeheartedly. Jim Bates did more for my game, my defensive back coach, than I only could imagine. I was thinking I had to be a bulky guy, strong guy, but he taught me how to lose weight, to be quicker, to be able to cover receivers, just what to look for. He gave me so much knowledge, and that's why my game just boom blew up, and I didn't even know it. He was hard. Oh my God, he was hard. He would literally just dog you in practice that you were almost like, hey man, you do one more thing. But when we came to game time, he let the horses run. And so I respected that, and everybody learned to respect that because they knew that he really cared. And our defense was ranked number 1, number 2, very, very high when Spurrier came in. And one thing that Spurrier did that for the defensive side is that we knew we got the ball back, which we were always great on defense. But we knew if we got the ball back to the offense, this guy was going to score. He was going to try to score and try to break the scoreboard in half, which made us feel like, hey, man, we get the ball back, we're going to score. And that score turned into winning. And so what Spurrier did for us was, I call ourselves the pioneers. We kind of, changed things from the era of Coach Hall and 6 and 5, but the graders have always been great. That era, which I give great respect to, with Charlie Pell and some of the boys, Frankie Neal and Lorenzo Hampton, all those Gator greats that were before us. And then we kind of logged a little bit. Then Spurrier changed it around. Of course, Spurrier changed it around. So I was a part of that, and as far as the Gators are concerned, I just really appreciate the era that I was in. So all the guys that came after me, I just smiled because I was down to that bottom foundational kind of turnaround, and it was great. It was super. I wouldn't change a thing.
Well, let's talk about that 1990 season.
Okay.
7 interceptions. You tied the single season UF record, second most in the nation.
Wow. Yeah.
What do you attribute having such a breakout season that year too?
Truthfully, and we go back and I just strike upon these memories. And my father had died that year, and it was really close to me. And I was always trying to prove to my father, what kind of son and athlete and carrying on his name. My father in high school stayed right across the street from the local station, not station, but the local field that we play in, Gene Cox Stadium. But he never came to a game. My father was an acute alcoholic. And I used to always beg him to come to the games. He would sit on his porch, literally, and could hear the intercom speaker, White on the play, or da-da-da-da. So he would know everything that I did. And I was always begging him to come to the games. But he never. I guess he was embarrassed of himself, and going through that disease is just horrific. And so my father fell down, slipped down, and cracked his kneecap. And because he had to have surgery and he was an acute alcoholic, he developed blood clots and never made it through. And I never forget, I was in Norman Hall in a linguistics class, and my very good friend, my academic advisor, Tom Williams, came and got me. And I was, like I said, I was a college student, having fun. And I remember he was so silent when he came and got me out of class. And I was like, man, what's going on? I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good in the class. I'm doing good on the field. What's going on? This was my 1989 season, before the 90 came. And what I attribute it to is really, I gave it to my father and just God. I really had turned my life around. Learning spiritually, religion-wise. And so that night, December 13th, 1989, when we were preparing to go to Anaheim to play Washington, I had a great game. I thought I should have won the MVP of the game, but Huey won it. So when I finally walked, it was like a mile. I mean, I can close my eyes and remember how the day was. It was gray. It looked like it was going to rain. My good academic advisor, great friend now over all these years, we were just walking. I kept asking, man, what's going on? What's going on? And it felt like it was so long. We were going to the coach's office where my mother was waiting so she can pick up the phone. When I got to Coach Darnell's office, which was the head coach at the time, he just came in. And I was like, this was so eerie. And he just picked up the phone and dialed. And he got my mother on the phone and just handed me the receiver. And so he's like, yeah, your dad, da-da-da. I was like, what's going on? So he told me, to make a long story short, told me my dad died, and I just lost it. I went back back then they had not videotapes, but they had the tape recorders. We didn't have voicemail. So when I got back to my dorm, it was the tape recorded, whatever. And so my dad was on it, and he was like, man, give me a call. And this was like 3 or 4 days prior to him having surgery. And I was mad with him because I was like, man, I'm down here playing, carrying your name, da-da-da. And I used to, when I come home, I used to always get on, man, come down. I had all of my family down. Come down. He would never come down because of his illness. And that's why I don't drink today. I've been, always. And so that when Spurrier came in, and we played the game in Anaheim. And then next year, I worked my ASS ass off to get in the very best whatever. And so I was competing with Greg as well as Monty Grow. And then the first game, I was alternating. I forgot the first game. It might have been like San Jose State or someone. But I was alternating and getting good playing time. But when I got to the University of Alabama in Tuscaloosa, that's when I had my map game. When I
Right.
picked off 3 balls, I was everywhere. It was a game that, you know how they talk about being in that zone. I know what that feels like. And Jordan was saying, hey, the bucket is biggest, everything that goes off the fingertips, it finds its way into basketball. Everything I did, it's like I already knew what was going to happen. I could see the revolutions in the ball just going woo, woo, and it was slowed down it was like, what? Are you kidding me? This guy's throwing the ball and then when I caught it, zoop, it went full speed, and it was being in the zone. When they say it's better than sex, I know exactly what they were talking about. I never got tired. I think I was like 16 tackles, 3 picks, and it was my second pick was the most. If you go back, it was when they were driving in and they was getting control of the game.
Oh yeah.
And it was right there in the end zone. And it's like I just was in their huddle. I was in his head. I was in I think it was Holland something. I forgot the kid's name, number 14. But it was just one of those games that, as a Florida Gator, that I will always treasure and remember. Sometimes, like when we all go through things, and sometimes in life when I was down and I would put that game on, and I would just smile, and I was like, wow. You know what I mean? Like, wow. Wow. And then the next game, I picked 2 more off against Mississippi State, the game that I first got my start in. So that season was just a season for the Gators itself. I was representing, though I was an All-American, became an All-American that year. I represented what I call the concrete, the Carlton Miles, the Dale Spears, the Philip Johnsons, the guys that were my freshman brothers, that guys that played on special teams, didn't get as much, sort of shine as I did, and the offense did, because the offense, with Spurrier being so offensively genius, and that was what was going on, because we was a conference of running Emmett left, Emmett right, Emmett up middle, and Georgia and Auburn, all those great backs we had back then, was starting to transition. So being a part of that, is just a treasure that always, for the rest, as a 53-year-old man now, it seems like just like yesterday. And that was the year that really put the Gators on the map. We went up there and beat Alabama, and everybody was like, oh, wait a minute, we need to check out these Gators. And we kept winning. It felt good to us, and we grew together, and it was just, again, I can't say enough for that year, that game, that season, and what we learned. Me growing up as a man, losing my father, it was just it makes the man that I am now.
So yeah, that year you earned first team All SEC, first team All American. Gators have the best record in the SEC, but you're on probation, right? So you can't call yourself SEC champion.
Yeah,
but which we found out from, I think it was Judd Davis, Coach Spurrier had rings made for you anyway and gave them to the team.
Yeah, he did.
That had to be pretty special,
Coach Spurrier, sure. Knowing Coach Spurrier, knowing him, not saying arrogance, but arrogance. But we were that team. We were those dudes, and that's what he wanted us to feel like. So he, knowing our hard effort and how hard we worked, and the goals that we set, we achieved those goals. And so, being Spurrier, he got us rings, and I have those rings. My mother, right in my mother's room now. Oh yeah, and we were looking forward to the '91 season because things had truly turned around, and we was excited. Got great recruits. Eric Rett came onto the scene that '91.
I've heard of that guy.
Yeah, of course you have. 033.
That's right.
So we were getting great recruits. We were back on the scene, and it just felt really, really, really good.
So in that '91 season, Spurrier leads you guys to actually the first 10-win season ever in Gator history.
Right.
You guys go 10-2. You're official SEC champions.
Right.
How did that feel? And you said you have those rings. Would you have given that first ring to your father?
Of course. Man, it was through high school, my pop never came, but he knew everything that I did. just having that illness, and I learned how over the years with all the things that the world has gone through, your mental health is number one. And I can only imagine, when I was his age when I was in high school now. And I just, learning how the world goes around, I can only imagine with some of the things that he was dealing with. And it really broke my heart that my father was an alcoholic. And I just wanted to make him proud.
Sure.
My mother went to every game, and my aunts, uncles, and the things that I enjoyed, giving to my family. They were a witness of it and a part of it. But my dad is my mirror. He's me. I'm him. And I thought that, with great play, and eventually trying to make the NFL, I could always help him. And he would feel proud enough of me to to overcome his illness. But unfortunately, he wasn't able to. And so, I was just really proud of the team. I was really proud of my freshman brothers. I was, I had really changed my life, like I say, religiously.
Mm-hmm.
I give all the honor to God, because, if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't have been in that situation. And I was learning life lessons. So becoming my own man. But going into that 91 season, after the 90 season, was just something that I really was prepared for, and really ready to elevate my game and be more of a leader of the team,
right? Because
of all the things that I've gone through.
You mentioned Zook. He took over at DC that year, and Kevin Carter's there on the D line. What do you remember about the defense that year?
What I remember about the defense that year, again, some of the play that we had in 90, we were getting great recruits. Kevin Carter is a homeboy of mine from Tallahassee Lincoln. I went to Tallahassee Garby. Brad Culpepper went to Tallahassee Leon. So we had a nice mixture of Tallahassee on the defense, and he was a young pup. And
why couldn't Bowden get an interview?
We were smart. we were smart. Gators, as far as educationally wise, what was it? It was an old joke that says, what does a Seminole say to the Gators in the morning? And it's good morning, boss. So, we were we were just proud about who we were, where we were going. Spurrier gave us that opportunity to have that swag. And, they really grew on the defensive line, and especially, the few years after me with Ellis Johnson, Big Shaba, and Kevin Carter. And they really had a defensive line that was almost like an NFL defensive line. So starting with that defensive line, and which only translates to the secondary, because they only have limited time to do what they're going to do. And you can able to make great reads and get jumps on the ball, make big plays in the secondary area. So we really felt good about who we were and where we were going.
Well, clearly you went places, including to the Sugar Bowl that year against Notre Dame.
We did.
And you had the lead there in the fourth quarter. And, you've mentioned some great running backs, obviously, the Gators like Emmett and Eric Rett. But what do you remember about the bus from that game? Like he was a big dude even when he was in college.
The wheels on the bus go round and round, round and round. Yo, we had lost a lot of key players in that game. We had young players going in. We lost Tim Polk. We lost a lot of guys. I remember on that defensive side of things. We were really excited about what was going on and our chances of winning. But they ran the ball. I never forget. It was the first time I seen pregame that they came out in one uniform and totally changed. So they just changed the whole uniform, and that kind of like, whoa, okay, that was sweet. You know what I mean? but man, we were out there in New Orleans having a blast. We just also thought that we could most definitely win the game and continue that blast, but it didn't. It ran out. We were just decimated on defense, which I don't make any excuses about it. They were the better team that night, executed, and like I said, the wheels on the bus went round and round.
Yeah, what do you have, 3 touchdowns in the fourth quarter? Something like that?
Round and round, round and round. Yeah.
All right, let's skip.
Go ahead. And let's skip that because that was horrible. But anyway,
let's move on to 92
Anyway.
and Gators playing the first ever official SEC championship game. Even though Bama took the win, that's got to be special to you to be able to say that you played in the first SEC championship.
Yeah. I tell my son that. I have a son that went to the University of Auburn. He went to Lincoln High School here in Tallahassee and got a full ride up to University of Auburn when Cam took them out to out west where I got drafted. It was crazy. I got drafted to the Phoenix Cardinals,
right.
And they went that his freshman year they won. And now you're talking about rings. Those rings that Spurrier got us and I won, they were superseded by by a national championship ring. So I was winning. Yeah, but unfortunately it was Auburn, but they were beautiful. They were gorgeous. And my son, his freshman year, played corner. And then his senior year, they also went back out west to play Florida State, the home team, for the national. And like you said, when I was playing Notre Dame, we had the game won for 3.5 quarters. It was the same exact thing that happened to him. So we always talk about that because Florida State came back with Jameis Winston, threw it in the back of the end zone to the tall kid. I can't think down south.
It was Benjamin.
Benjamin, yeah. And it broke my heart. My heart was broken. I was out in the Rose Bowl. Never went to the Rose Bowl for a beautiful venue, and it was storytellish because he went freshman year, played a little bit, then get redshirt, played a little bit special teams, and then they went down, and then they came all the way up. But this is not an Auburn Tiger War Eagle story. This is the Gators. But anyway, so that 1992 season, playing in the first inaugural SEC championship versus the team that I had a lot of success with. I had three picks. Yeah. I had 3 picks my sophomore year. I had another pick when they came down to us. I had a great game. My ankle was hurt. Didn't start, but I got to play a lot. And so I was excited about playing against Alabama, best against the best, in the first SEC championship. And look how it's grown. I mean, my God. So yeah, I wear that on my sleeve pretty highly. So it was a game. It was freezing. It was cold to us. We were winning. We were thinking we were going to win. We all got together and was doing the Gator thing, man. And they were fortunate enough to turn it around and then it catapulted them to greater heights as well. So yeah, I feel very, very fortunate to have played in the first game up in Alabama.
And now basically whoever wins the SEC championship is playing for the national title.
Exactly. And I was at the root of it all.
OG, pioneer.
They highlight the offense always, and I wish that they did a special. I wish they kind of got some of the defensive side of get boys was in there. Willie was up there, Shane, all these guys, my freshman brothers, Eric. But some of the guys, man, that were on defense, I think that, kind of was overshadowed by Spurrier and his offense. And, but it takes the defense to get that offense the ball and to change momentum. And defense travels. Unfortunately, we didn't travel too good that day in Birmingham.
So you're selected in 91, 92. First team All-SEC again. That's 3 in a row.
Yes.
Both years, Playboy All-American as well, 91 and 92.
Yeah.
So I got to imagine there's a huge party to celebrate at that Playboy Mansion. Am I wrong?
Oh, man.
Well, I know you're
hey, we're going to keep this thing PG.
You walk the straight and narrow now. I get it.
Oh, my God. It was a photo shoot. It was meeting guys from all over the United States, getting to hear their stories. It was in Miami one of those years, and a lot of my boys are from Miami and South Florida, so they all came. I'm a kind of a guy that kind of really, believe it or not, kind of shies away from all this notoriety. Shane and I went down there together, so it did me good, kind of like in Shawshank Redemption when Andy Dufresne was on the roof and just in getting his boys and his crew some beer to drink. I enjoy seeing my boys, you know what I mean, enjoying all the things that I had accomplished and my freshman brothers. And that's what one of the things that I kind of look back and people was like, man, why you didn't leave your junior year, man? You were hotter than fish grease. You should have left. And it was the year of the defensive back. But mainly I came back because I wanted to complete something that we started. With my freshman class is where the program was going. A national championship. We had just lost to Notre Dame. And I just felt like it was some unfinished business that I wanted to take care of. And I had a great season. I ended up picking off 2 balls. People kind of went away from me. I wish I could have got in front of a lot. I really wish I could have developed more of my skill set at corner that year because it would have helped me as far as in the NFL. But anyway, so that 92 season was a doozy. But go ahead.
You mentioned Shane. Did you, being a former quarterback, did you ever have a chance maybe in practice or to push him a little bit or compete or?
Hell yeah. When Shane first came to school, we thought that he was a trainer because he was so skinny and we could not believe that this guy was a quarterback. Period. I was like, are you kidding me? He was literally like, I think Shane's like 6'3". And he had to be $155 at the most. And but he threw a beautiful ball. He was coached by his dad. He was come from, so there were a lot of qualities that we just need. You put some weight on this guy and blah, blah, blah. But when we came in fresh, I could not believe that he was a quarterback. So when we were in one little story between Shane and I was number 9. Which was his high school number it was his number in high school.
Right.
And when Spurrier came, I changed to number 2, which was my high school number. And Shane had it. And I never forget the day I was like, man, how you get my number? When he said, well, you got my number. And so we were, I never forget, we was in the equipment room one day and I said, well, damn, man. I said, man, let me get my number back and you can get this 9. And we went in and talked to Bud Fernandez, and he was the head equipment guy, been there 1,000 years, and so we were able to convince, and it was like, yo, I just felt when I got my number back, people would gravitate towards numbers for whatever reason, psychological reason, whatever, but I just felt at home when my 2 was back on my back. And so he was number 9. And so it was just ironic that when he kind of blew up with Spurrier coming, I did as well. So we traveled on some SEC teams. We went to Playboy together. It's kind of a little match between Shane and I, not only from my numbers, but just the play, the highlight of play and when it started for us. So I still talk to Shane to this day when I look him up and dial him up and have a good time, have a good laugh, and so it's awesome, man. It really is. From the experience of being a Gator and all my 4 years and the rest of my 30 years removed. It's just it's that Gator Nation that really keeps me going.
When it's all said and done, you leave UF with 14 interceptions, then a school record, and it still stands at number 2.
Yeah,
just 1 behind Fred Weary.
Yeah.
Did you give him a call when he broke your record?
No, I tried to look him up. I tried to find out where he was. I have not, believe it or not. I don't know. I hope it doesn't show too much no class, but yeah, I couldn't. I wish I did. I think I never really met Fred. I kind of sent messages through the school, congrats. But being out of Jacksonville, I think I did meet him one time, but it was years ago. But no, man, records are made to be broken, and there's a story behind all of it. He was a great corner that really did his thing, and I always go back to school. I always pay attention to the guys in the secondary, and he's one of the guys that I really respect in his game.
Looking back at all your awards, accolades, records, what are you most proud of from your Gator days?
Believe it or not, is really not coming off the gridiron. What comes off the gridiron is the friendships and the lifelong buddies I have and the journey of life that we've all walked and helped each other and always show our Gator love towards each other. All the accolades will be there. and they would get broken. And but the friendships that come from, I love those guys. I love my boys, and so that is the thing that I most cherish. I was I was there for 4 years. I wouldn't change a thing. The journey that I had within those 4 years, from going to be a quarterback to be a guy that has to tackle, like, wait a minute, what is this? And to just transform my body, my mind, my spirit, and be able to make plays, losing my father. Just the whole experience of it all is what I most cherish about the Gators. I'm very proud of them, even after the coaches have changed. And even right now today, I get mad at them sometimes, like, wait a minute, what's going on? But
You're not the only one.
Yeah, I know. But just representing them and just staying true, to the University of Florida Gator is very, very, very important to me. So
you mentioned this earlier, 1993 NFL draft, Phoenix Cardinals take you in the 7th round. What was that moment like to be drafted by an NFL team? I got to imagine that's pretty special in your...
Hey, I'm an honest guy, and it is special. It is special. And I tell you what, I was happy, excited, and from a competitive standpoint, I was pissed. I was like, what took you so long?
Yeah.
And I was. And I never forget it. I was like, are you kidding me? And I see guys go from schools that are much smaller than me, don't have the resume, blah, 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 blah. But I'm a 21-year-old kid, so I have all of those emotions. And I'll never forget, I was laying in my mother's bed, and representative from Phoenix called. And see, my boys, they play all the time. You heard stories how, hey, this is Jim Suata or somebody from the Philadelphia Eagles, and call, and it sounds just like, and then bust out, no, it's me, dude, whatever. So what I mean? So this is what I thought was going on. So I hung up on the guy.
Oh no!
Like, yeah. Again, yeah, exactly. So I hung up on the guy. So they called back, and I was like, man, why don't you stop playing? And then it's still back then. I think it was on the ticker, and it was like, no, this is not playing. I forgot who the guy was, but I think he passed away, and he was a defensive back. Damn, I should know his name. He was a defensive back for the Cardinals too, and he just loved my game. And I'll never forget the first preseason game I got into was versus the Chicago Bears versus Shane Matthews. See how me and Shane just always kind of lock up?
Yeah.
And I never ever sacked the quarterback in college, but I had an opportunity because I played a little bit different position. They had me as strong and big nickel. So I would come in like, second to third down, but I wasn't that robbing back in cover 2, 3 deep. It is just a different scheme. So I was able to blitz, and I blitzed and I tackled Shane, and I was laying on him and I was whispering in the ear, I gotcha, you son of a so when I got back on the bus going back, I cannot think of, oh my God, because he was number 24 as well, and he was a general manager there. And I asked him, man, I was like, yo, why you guys, wait a minute, why you guys pick me up so late? And he was like, he just laughed, and he was like, you don't want to know. I said, yes, I do, man. Why did you pick me up so late? And it was like, you should have probably came out your junior year, da-da-da. He was honest. And so, it was just fun. So it was different atmosphere from the camaraderie of my boys. I learned lessons that I'm really trying to take food off someone else's table. It wasn't the same college feel. It was a bunch of vets. We were in a losing environment with the Phoenix Cardinals. The Phoenix Cardinals. When I came from a winning environment, my rookie year was totally like strange. Be honest with you, I didn't like it.
Really?
You know what I mean? Because, well, yeah. I mean, to the extent, I come from winning, and I got all my boys. Everybody knew that they were going to play. It was just a different system. And I never forget in practice, a guy named Dave Durison, which was on the 86
him. He was on the Bears.
Oh, yeah.
Champion.
There you
sure.
go. Taught me a lesson in life. Get in your playbook, rookie. I asked him, we were in practice scrimmaging, and I asked him, I said, hey, if this guy goes in motion, hey, do I do this check? And da-da-da-da-da-da. And he told me a check that just didn't make, and it just didn't just didn't seem right. And the check was to vacate me from the area of deep third where I was supposed to be when I came down. So just like I said, when I came in and coach brought me in, it happened, the guy motioned across, I made the check, and they ran a post behind me.
Oh.
Touchdown. And so, get your ass out of the way, blah, 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 blah. And I ran up the day and I said, yo, man, how you going to tell me the check? And then another guy was back said, you idiot. You trying to take food off this guy until you think he's going to take.
Wow. Sabotage.
Yeah, here we go. There it is. So I had to learn, it's about you. It's get in your playbook, da-da-da. So that first year, man, it's, again, lessons that I learned that take me through being a 53-year-old man. Study your book. And that's what I did. And I got to play a little bit, and then I went down to practice squad one, and then one week in Indianapolis Colts picked me up, gave me a little bonus. I'm getting out of here, guys. When I really, they had a plan for me, I should have stayed. So, but anyway. And that was my NFL career.
Well, in 2020, the Gainesville Sun put you in the top 10 safeties to ever play at UF. Looking back at your career and considering some of the monster talent that has been through UF in the defensive backs in the past 30 years, how does that make you feel to be put in the top 10?
Great. It makes me feel though I matter, though I enjoyed my time playing there. People, recognize my skill set. And there were some great guys that are there as well. Jarvis Williams, Lewis Oliver, and the list goes on. So it really makes me feel proud. It makes me feel proud, and know that my father's up in the sky looking at his last name being in a prominent school, and knowing that his son, played the game as though he loved it. And so it really makes me feel good. It really does. And so that's why I'm always like, yo, when is this fame coming? You know what I mean? So because that's my last one mic. The one mic that I, get an opportunity to talk about these experiences, just like I'm on you guys' podcast, which really makes me feel welcome and happy and connected to the Gator Nation. Give me an opportunity, a platform, and I really appreciate you guys giving me a call and giving me the opportunity. So. It's with being in the top 10, it's opinionated or whatever. Everybody, have their opinion, but I do recognize myself as one of the better defensive backs, and especially in a great era of Coach Spurrier.
As you should, well deserved.
Yep. So it is it's an honor. I always accept it as an honor. I always appreciate. I always pull for my Gators. I always look forward to them to get the national championship. I think that's where we should be. And we've been off a little bit these last years, but I just look forward to continue to move in the right direction. But the game has changed so much, recruiting, just the whole platform of it. It's changed so much.
Since you've left UF, who are some of the defensive backs you've seen there that you've enjoyed watching?
Oh my God! I should let me see. I've always Fred Weary, as we name him, because he broke my record in the way he reads things and pick things off. There is now you guys putting me on the spot. I forget their names. I'm a number guy. It was a guy right behind me, Brown, number 33, that came maybe a few years after me. And oh my God! And then number one,
Reggie Nelson.
What was number one's name?
Yeah.
Reggie Nelson. Now
Eraser.
check this out. Pound for pound, yes, pound for pound, I have him as the number one safety.
Yeah,
free.
It's hard to argue that.
Yeah, pound for pound, I give it to him.
Is there a particular safety that reminded you of yourself? As someone who had similar skills as you did?
Nelson.
Oh, all right.
Pound for pound. Yeah. I like Lawrence Wright. He was there with me. L-Dog. He's nuts, but he's my boy, and he knocks hell out of people, and he's definitely a Gator. But pound for pound, man, I tip my hat, and much respect for Reggie Nelson.
All right. Well, I see you on LinkedIn. You're it says you're a sales exec working for an ABC affiliate back in Tally.
Yes.
Did you get into sales right after your football career ended?
I did, and it was a natural transition because of the skill sets that I produced athletically. Also, I was able to translate in the sales industry. A lot of players go into sales, a lot of athletes go into sales, just the competitive nature, goal setting, perseverance. Sometimes you get told no, you got to turn it into yes. Just the extra gassers that we ran after practice, being early, being able to recognize the buying signs, the buying styles that you need to present your product, and having a great product that you feel, great about, that you feel, that it improves the value and the quality of life of an individual that you're presenting to. So I've been in the advertising arena for roughly about 20, 21 years. And I wouldn't change a thing. It helps me financially, so to speak, as well as just kind of get those vibes of kind of playing ball, being competitive, being on the winning team. So
sure,
that is what I've been doing since I've been away from the Gators.
All right, Will White, we usually end the show in a bit, and we're going to have you do a Mount Rushmore of Florida Gators trailblazers, guys that were in that early Spurrier era that helped bring Florida back to national prominence and set the benchmark of excellence for the future classes to build on. Your top 4 guys.
Oh man,
let
me see. I'm gonna go two defense.
Okay.
Just off the top of my head, only because you threw this question. If I had a little bit more steady, probably. But I would say Shane Matthews.
Okay.
And I would say
Heisman candidate when he was there, a 2-time SEC Player of the Year.
Right. Damn right. I would also say Eric Rett and my boy Willie Jack, just because he's smooth.
Well, hold
as
on.
hell.
You said 2 offensive guys. That's 3.
I know it. I'm stuck in between. And defensively, I would go. I'm defensively. These are like no name guys, but guys that I know, and I would go like a Timmy Polk. God bless the dead.
Okay.
Excellent middle linebacker,
team captain,
and team captain, and just a big play guy. And hey, I'm gonna put myself up there.
There you go.
You know what I mean?
There you go.
I'm gonna put myself up
perfectly
there.
allowed. Yes.
Right. I'll put myself up there, but a guy defensively that I really truly respected was again outside of the eraser, which Jarvis Williams wasn't part of the Spurrier area, so I would go Reggie Nelson.
All right.
Reggie Nelson.
All right.
So
good deal,
but it could be a ton of guys that could be up there. Great receivers like Riedel,
Chris Doering.
I mean, come on, Chris Doering. I mean, the list goes on and on. But from my eyeballs and from getting the question right quick, I feel very comfortable with those guys.
Well, now here the rule is 4. There's only 4 spaces on a Mount Rushmore now.
Yeah, I know, and I kind of put 5 to 6 in there.
I think you put like 8 or 9.
We can make room. We can squeeze some more heads on there.
Okay, all right. Well, listen, I'm gonna go ahead and do it like this, and you should. I'm gonna be on there.
Yes.
My boy Shane Matthews gonna be on there. I got Eric Rett, and I go with Tony McCoy.
All right.
All right.
Yo.
Tony McCoy. He's on my team.
We'll take it.
Yes.
Will White, what an honor and a pleasure to have not just a Gator great, we have a Gator legend in the house today.
You.
I mean, 3-time first team All SEC, 3-time All American, 2 SEC titles, even though only one's recognized. That's all right.
Yeah,
we recognize it here on the All for Gators podcast,
and that's really all that matters.
That's right.
Absolutely, we got to get you in the talk for the UF Athletics Hall of Fame discussion. Every full year you started, you were first team All SEC.
Yeah.
What more can you do?
Yeah.
What more can you do?
Yep.
So we're going to get the word out there. We're going to push this on social media. And we're going to do what we can. It's been an absolute honor and a pleasure, Will.
And you can invite us to your induction speech because we're going to help get this happen. We're coming. We're broadcasting live from
You're
there.
Damn right. You're damn right.
Absolutely.
You're damn right we are. But listen, more so, it has been my pleasure. The pleasure is mine, guys. And again, I really appreciate allowing me to have a mic on your podcast and just have a good time, man, talking about a blast from the past. So thank you again, and I really do appreciate it.
Oh, thank you, Will.
All right, OG number 2.
That's
there
me.
He is.
That's me.
Will White.
That's me, Willie Snow.
Man, that's one cool dude.
I love talking to the OG Spurrier initial champions there. I mean, that's wow. What a resume. I mean, 3 years as a starter, 3 years all SEC. What more can you do?
3 All-Americans. Tied or broke the interception record for a game, for a single season, and for a career. I mean, we're talking about what more can you do.
That's the Triple Crown. Come on. Gator Nation, let's get this man in the UF Hall of Fame. What's taking so long?
Absolutely.
And to that end, how the heck did he fall all the way to the 7th round, a 3-time All-SEC? I mean, I know the SEC wasn't the same for producing NFL players in the early 90s as they are today, but God, that guy was a producer. How did he mentioned that, they said to him that he should have come out a year earlier, but I mean, my goodness.
He mentioned that he had a hurt ankle or something that last
have been
season.
injury related. Yeah.
All right, Sid, time for our 2 bits.
All right.
You want to go first or you want me to go first?
I particularly enjoyed his story about being pranked and losing his helmet, and I immediately thought of Thurman Thomas in the Super Bowl, and I couldn't think of a clever way to tie it in, but that's totally where my brain went. And I'm like, hey, you did that was even before Thurman Thomas. You're the original helmet fiasco. So I enjoyed that story. I actually enjoyed a lot of the stories. That's a fun time. I thought that was really cool, and that in particular made me smile.
Better than the Dave Duerson prank.
Yeah, Dave Duerson prank, not as nice. That seemed a little meaner. Yes.
All right, so my 2 bits is the theme. I really felt like the theme that he spoke about his father and his father's issues, and his father never went to see him play, and, his alcoholism and passing away. And then, he won. He got the Spurrier SEC champion ring, but then he won an official SEC championship ring, and he's got it at his mom's house. But then he spoke about his son, and then he spoke about going to his son's games, and you could hear it in his voice, and then his son winning the national championship, and you could just feel like how that came full circle for him. Everything he wanted from his father that his father couldn't give him.
Sure.
He was able to give to his son and more, and get that from his relationship with his son. Does that make sense?
Well, you're not kidding. That definitely was a little heavier than mine, but yes, that makes a lot of sense. And and as we both also know what it's like to lose our dad, and for guys, it sucks to lose any loved one, but for a guy, and we all had close relationships with our dad. Clearly, Will did too. I definitely sympathize and relate to that. And
sure.
I like yours. That is good. And he kind of had like a circle of life. How he got to do the full rounds, where he felt that void from his dad not being there, but he made sure his son didn't have that, and he kind of got to enjoy it twice fold vicariously through his son. So I like yours. Mine was weak. You came strong today with your 2 bits. Good job there, John.
But you said it better than I did.
Well, I do that, but yes, yours was good.
That's why I have you on the show.
That's right. I got to bring something to the table.
You're my filter.
Yes,
my filter.
I'm your translator. I'll take it.
All right, Sid. Enjoyed this one, man.
Yes,
it was a good one.
It is a good one. Wow. You know what? We're pretty consistent. We got some good ones. To our friends of the show out there, thank you. And I can't wait to meet our future friends of the show. Nice.
Just the 2 of us.
Yeah. You couldn't do it if we tried.
Hey, he was number 2. Will White
was number 2. See, that was apt. That's right.
There it is. Tied it up in a nice little bow.
On that, walking off. Dropping the mic. Number 2. Out. Go Gators.
Go Gators.